I uploaded my very first YouTube video in November, and by April the following year, I was monetized and earning over 4 figures per month just through my YouTube channel. I've shared a lot about my journey, but I've never broken down the steps that I took month by month, which got me from 0 subscribers to fully monetized in just 6 months until today. So if that sounds of interest to you, which I feel like it does because you clicked on this video, keep on watching. By the way, this video is sponsored by Riverside, more on them later. All right, let me set the scene for you. It is November 2020, and don't worry, I will be sharing up-to-date tips throughout this video. It's November 2020, and I have sat down to film my very first video. I'm absolutely bricking it, but I push past all the uncomfortable feelings, I film it anyway, and I share it on November the 15th. Now, I made one very key, ever so slightly controversial decision during my first month on YouTube, which I'm gonna share with you because I actually think you should make the same decision when it comes to your journey too. I really feel like this helps set me up for success in the long run. And that decision was to focus on quantity over quality. The reason why I say this is a bit controversial is because some people will tell you to focus on quality from the very beginning. And to bring this to life a little bit more, if you were to focus on quality from the early days, that might involve you uploading 1 video a week or maybe only a couple videos a month and just making sure that those videos were the best quality that you could possibly achieve at that time. What I'm recommending that you do instead is to upload 2 long form videos per week and maybe 3 to 5 shorts per week, at least for the first 6 months of your journey on YouTube. Now, don't get me wrong, these uploads do need to be high quality. I'm not saying just upload whatever you want and just share it to the world. You want to be trying to make these videos high quality, and with every video you want to try and be improving them bit by bit. But the reason why I believe you should put more focus on the quantity versus the quality in the early days is because it's the quantity which allows you to get to the point where the quality is really high. And we've all heard the saying, practice makes perfect. Like, we've all heard that saying before. It's a saying for a reason. The way we improve the quality of our content is by producing more content, right? We have to practice showing up on camera. We have to practice prepping our videos. We have to practice editing our videos. In order for us to do that, we need to be sharing a decent amount of content, which is why I think putting more focus on quantity over quality, always remembering that quality is still important, is how you should kick off your journey on YouTube. And that's very much what I did in month 1. Another thing that I did during my first month, which was small, but I like to think helped me out in the long run, is I did a lot of manual pushing of my content. I think we all know that in the early days of YouTube, it can sometimes feel like it's impossible to get your first 5, 10, 15 views, right? I'm not even talking subscribers, I'm talking views. So in the very early days, I would utilize my other channels to try and get my content out there. So for example, I had a personal Instagram channel, which had a lot of friends and family on there, and I would share links to my YouTube videos over on my stories to try and encourage anyone who might be interested to go and have a look, watch the video, comment, maybe even like it. And I do think that helped me get my first handful of views on my first few YouTube videos. Now, if you're someone who found my first tip a bit daunting, so when I spoke about focusing on quantity over quality, if you heard that and thought, hun, I do not have the time to be uploading that much content every single week to my YouTube channel, I have a few tools that I want to share with you, which are going to help the whole process of you creating high quality content quickly a lot easier. And these tools can all be found on Riverside. If you're not familiar with Riverside already, then where have you been? Because I feel like I talk about them all the time, but they have so many amazing tools which are gonna help you. It's basically an online studio for high quality video recording, audio recording, and editing. It's like a one-stop shop for all of your needs when it comes to creating and editing high quality content. I'm gonna take you inside my Riverside studio because there's 3 specific tools that you can use which will make it a lot easier for you to create, edit, and upload high quality content on your YouTube channel, okay? These are the tools which are going to help you stick to that quantity over quality tip that I shared a little while ago. Okay, so the first tool that you're going to want to use, and probably my favorite tool, is the editing tool. So I'm currently in one of my Riverside studios and I've uploaded a video that I'm going to be sharing to YouTube. One way for you to quickly and easily edit your YouTube videos is to use the text editor on the left-hand side. It basically allows you to edit your video as you would a Word document, because on the left-hand side, what Riverside has done is provided a transcript of your entire video. So you can go through this transcript and highlight any words or any sentences that you're saying that you don't want to be included in the final edit. You highlight them, you click the delete button, and it will automatically delete that piece of footage from your video. A very easy, very efficient way for you to edit your video with ease. This is one of those things that I just wish I had access to when I started back in November 2020, but alas, I did not. Another tool that you can use, which is going to help you stick to a higher frequency upload schedule, is called their show notes tools. So this is super useful specifically for your YouTube descriptions. If you don't know what I mean, just look below at the text below this video. You can see what I'm referring to. Now, these can sometimes take half an hour to an hour to write, but when you use this tool, it will literally take you a few minutes. So I'm going to click on show notes here, and Riverside is basically going to generate a description of a video that we can use for our description, but also for other things too. So here you've got a summary that you can use for the first paragraph paragraph of your description, keywords that you can also use in your description to help optimize it for search. There's key takeaways that you might want to include. It even gives you title ideas for your YouTube videos, sound bites that you might want to use on social media, chapters, which are super important for YouTube. Those are basically the things that allow your audience to navigate through your video with ease. Hover over my video right now and you can see that there's specific chapters that pop up. That is exactly what I'm referring to. And that is what is auto-generated when you use the show notes function on Riverside. So if you use both of those features, the text editor and the show notes, you should be able to create high quality content pretty easily and stick to a high frequency upload schedule. Okay, let's move on to month 2. Now, during the second month of my YouTube channel, I focused a lot of time and energy in getting to know my audience. Now, I know what you're thinking, did I even have an audience by that point? No, not really. But I had enough information for me to try and figure out what the few people who are watching and commenting on my videos actually wanted from me. Now, there is a bit of a hack here because for most of us, we're not really getting much feedback on our content in month 2 of us being on YouTube, but that doesn't mean that there isn't feedback out there that we can utilize to improve our own content. So what I would do during this time is I would look at other creators who was uploading similar content to me. Specifically, I'd be looking at their comment section and I would see what my potential audience were asking for, were feeding back on, were enjoying, weren't enjoying under their content. And I was using that information to try and improve my own content. As I said, this is a great hack for anyone in the early days of their journey because a lot of us aren't getting much feedback from our audience just yet. In addition to getting to know my audience on a deeper level, I was also spending month 2 just practicing filming and uploading content. I was practicing showing up on camera, I was practicing editing my videos, and I was really just focusing on that for the duration of month 2. Before we move on to month 3, should we do a quick update of what my channel is looking like? So let's go back to the end of December. By the end of December 2020, I had 106 subscribers, and this was about 6 weeks into my YouTube journey. I remember heavily celebrating that 100 subscriber mark, by the way, because I felt like I was making progress. And I wanted to share this because you might be on a similar trajectory and thinking that you're not progressing, but this is progress, guys, okay? And it all adds up in the end, I promise. Before we get to the end though, let's move on to month 3. Month 3 was a big month for my channel, and not because I suddenly started to see a lot of growth, that didn't quite happen yet. It's more because I made a strategic change to my content, which really triggered the growth later on. And this change was to do with my topics. Now, up until this point, I was picking topics based on things that I was interested in and also based on my audience, which meant that I was talking about anything and everything to do with business. Sometimes I was talking about boutiques and e-commerce. Sometimes I was talking about social media. Whilst I still had a niche, I was a little bit all over the place. That changed in month 3. I decided to really double down, not on my niche, but on my audience. You'll remember that in the previous month, I was spending a lot of time researching my audience and seeing what they was responding to, what they were asking for. And I used that information to change my topics ever so slightly. So my topics went from broader business to specifically digital forms of marketing. So social media, email lists, websites, that kind of stuff, but also focusing on creator entrepreneurs. So these are people who are influencers, social media managers, etc. I really narrowed down my audience and I started to create content specifically for them. In addition to refining my content topics based on my audience, I also started to pick content topics based on whether or not I thought they were trending or searchable. So instead of just finding content topics because I wanted to talk about that one thing, I started to find content topics which I thought my audience would want. I basically flipped my strategy on its head and I became audience centric, which is a switch that I recommend all creators go through as soon as they possibly can when it comes to their journey. I like to say that if you're going to use social media for personal use, so just for like your friends and family, then you don't need to make this switch. But if you're going to use social media for a purpose, then at some point you need to start making content which is audience centric. And that is exactly what I started to do in month 3. You might be wondering if that decision had an immediate impact on the performance of my channel. Well, let's have a look. This is what my channel was looking like in December 2020. So that is month 2 of my journey. I had 706 views, just under 50 watch hours, and I gained 40 subscribers. Now, January was my 3rd month on YouTube and was also the month where I started to refine my video topics. And January looked a bit like this. In January, I gained almost 4,000 views. I had 290 roughly watch hours, and I gained 146 subscribers. This is a pretty good month. This is the first month where I was like, hold on a minute.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I think I'm onto something. Something's starting to happen. Now, did I immediately reach monetization? No, I still had a little while to go, but this data was telling me that I was onto something. So this new strategy that I had when it came to how I picked my video topics, I stuck with that for the next few months. Which begs the question, what did I do in month 4, which helped me reach monetization just a couple months later? Well, since I felt like I had got into a good rhythm with picking the right video topics for my channel, I moved my energy onto the video itself, specifically on improving the pacing pacing of my videos. Now, I've spoken about this before, and there are still videos on my channel where you can see this god-awful thing that I'm about to refer to. But I had this really annoying intro in the early days of my YouTube channel. It was only a few seconds long, but I did quickly notice that I was losing a lot of people when that intro played. So one of the first things I did was removed that intro, which then led me down the path of trying to figure out how I could improve the pacing of my video in order to keep people interested and engaged for longer. So that involved implementing a few tactics, including very short intros. I usually try to keep my intros under 30 seconds nowadays so that I get straight to the point. I also started to use end cards, which allowed me to pitch a new video at the end of each video, which really helped me stack up some watch hours. Because essentially what would happen is you would watch an entire video, get to the end, I would pitch you on a new one, and then you'd start watching that one. And then the same thing would happen again at the end of that video. Before you know it, you've spent the last 8 hours watching all of my videos, or at least hopefully. Another tactic that I used was to increase the pacing of my video. Now, to this day, some of you will tell me that I speak too fast. Some of you might even say that I speak too slow, although I very rarely get that feedback. But I have learned over time that the pace that I currently have in my videos is actually the pace that actually keeps you guys engaged for the longest amount of time. If you are someone who struggles with pacing, there's actually a tool that you can use on, you guessed it, Riverside, which actually allows you to set the pace of your video by literally clicking one button. I'll quickly show you how it works. So we're in the editing window of one of my videos, and I'm going to click on AI Producer, and here I'm going to click Set Pace. And you can basically use this toggle to decide the pacing of your video. And how it sets the pace is by removing the pauses in your footage. The less pauses they are, or the shorter the pauses, the quicker the pace of your video. So you can decide if you want it to be a natural pace, a balanced pace, a fast pace, or a super fast pace, which is amazing for anyone who struggles to set the pace during their actual recording sessions. So was month 4 the month where I finally got my big blow up and I was en route to monetization? Not quite. Here's a reminder of what my analytics looked like in month 3, and this is what my analytics looked like on month 4. So there's a steady increase in views, watch hours, and subscribers, but it wasn't quite the big blow up that I was anticipating. Now, that doesn't mean that I was doing anything wrong that month to not achieve that blow up. What it means is that I was laying the groundwork for the blow up, because in month 5, things started to really pick up for me. So what are some things that I did in month 5 which may have contributed to me reaching monetization the following month? In month 5, I focused heavily on improving the quality of my content. So I'd already spent the previous month trying to improve the pace of my content. This was the month where I actually thought, okay, maybe the quality could do with a bit of tweaking. Now, I must admit that I didn't improve the quality as much as I would have liked to. I will be honest with myself there. What I should have done that month is actually invested in a better camera, which I did not. But alas, I still made some changes, which definitely helped keep my channel healthy. So one thing that I did to improve the quality of my content was I purchased a lapel mic. So this was a wired lapel mic from Amazon. It was like £10. I don't remember the exact one that I bought. I will link to one below. However, I will say that the mic wasn't the best thing in the world, but at the same time, it was only £10. So what did I really expect? The mic that I currently use is the Elgato mic, which I will link below as well. I very much recommend this mic, especially if you're doing sit down talking head videos. And the mic that I use when I'm vlogging or out and about is the DJI mic. So I will link all of those below because those are the ones that I currently swear by. But back then I didn't have a big budget or any budget at all really. So I just spent £10 on the cheapest Amazon mic I could find. It wasn't the best, but it definitely improved the quality of my content to an extent. Another thing that I did, which I think is linked to the quality of my content, is I worked on how I showed up online. Like I worked on my camera presence. Now it still wasn't flawless by the end of this month. I'm pretty sure I was still doing that thing where I looked at the screen rather than the camera lens. That took me a really long time to get used to. But I was working on how comfortable I showed up online, and I was also working on my prompts and how I was prepping for my videos. A great tip that I have for you if you're trying to work on this skill is to look into using a teleprompter if you're really struggling to deliver certain points when you're filming your videos. Now, I was going to say famously. In no way is this a famous thing about me, or is it anything that anyone even knows. I'm someone who is vocal about the fact that I do not script my videos. I write prompts for my videos. And if you've ever wondered what that looks like, stick with me. I'm going to show you in just a moment. The reason why I write prompts for my videos is because I want to come off as authentic as possible when I'm speaking. And the way in which I achieve that is by allowing myself to speak freely on a topic, but by still having those prompts so that I make sure I deliver the key points of value throughout my video. Now, I mentioned using a teleprompter tool, and you guessed it, there is one on Riverside. I'll show you what it looks like, and I'll also give you an example of what prompts look like for my videos. So I'm in my Riverside account. I'm in my Jade's demos studio, which I use specifically for you guys. And I'm going to click on record. From here, I'm going to specify my settings. I'm going to say whether I'm using a microphone or not. It's a super unflattering angle for me. I'm going to click my camera, the microphone I'm using, etc. And I'm going to click join studio. So this is I cannot get over how bad this angle is. This is the studio that you can use to film video content. You can also invite people to join and film interviews. But what I want to show you right now is the teleprompter. So down here, you want to click on script and then click teleprompter. Here is where you can copy and paste your prompts or your scripts. I'm going to break the fourth wall here and I'm going to show you the prompts that I wrote down for this actual video. So these are the prompts that I used when I was talking about month 3 of my journey to monetization in this actual video. So essentially I wrote down that for month 3, I wanted to focus on the fact that I refined my content topics. So that included trending topics, audience relevancy when it comes to the topics, and searchable topics. Guys, this is literally all I wrote down for that section of this video. These are the only prompts that I used. If I was using the teleprompter feature on Riverside, I would copy and paste these prompts. I would set the speed of the teleprompter to make sure that it was scrolling at a speed which worked for me. Because I use prompts, I usually want the speed to be pretty slow like this. Whereas if you're using a script, you might be reading a lot faster, so therefore it might be a bit quicker like this. Oh, that's super quick. Don't know how quickly you read, but it might be like that, right? So this tool could be great for you if you're also struggling with camera confidence, but also remembering the different points that you're trying to get across in your videos. So here's a reminder of what my analytics look like in month 4, and this is what they look like in month 5. As you can see, my channel was getting 7,700 views, which was wild for me, and 690 watch hours, and had gained 265 subscribers. So by this point, I was well on my way to monetization. However, if there's anyone out there doing some quick math, you might realize that I've actually still got a little while to go, which might be confusing because, as you know, by the end of month 6, I was officially monetized. So by this point, if we tally everything up, my channel had received 1,500 watch hours and I was aiming for 4,000 watch hours in order to reach the level of monetization that I needed. And I had 720 subscribers. I needed 1,000 subscribers to reach that level of monetization. So you might be wondering, how did I gain 2,500 watch hours and 280 subscribers just a few short weeks after the end of month 5? Now the answer might surprise you. Let's move on to month 6, aka monetization month. Okay, it's my 6th month on YouTube. This is the month that I got monetized. You might be thinking that I did this incredible hack that just catapulted my channel to success. You'll be surprised to learn that that is not the case. In fact, in month 6, I didn't do much at all. In the month of April 2021, I was very, very ill. I was bedbound for almost the entire month and I didn't film any new content. Fortunately, I was already a pro at batching my content by that point, so I already had videos that were going out every single week on my channel that kept my channel going. However, that did mean that I didn't make any substantial changes to the content that I was sharing. All the videos that were going out in month 6 were based on the strategies that I had already implemented. The pacing, the quality, the topics. These are all things that I defined in months 3 to 5. The reason why I was able to finally get monetized in month 6 was because of compounding interest. It was because of all the things that I did in the months leading up to that, which eventually led to my YouTube channel having its first blow up. So let's have a look at the stats. Are you ready? This is what my channel looked like in month 5, and this is what my channel looked like in month 6. I had gone from just under 8,000 views in month 5 to 76,000 views in month 6. I'd also gone from just under 700 watch hours in month 5 to almost 8,000 watch hours in month 6. And I had gone from gaining 265 subscribers to gaining 3,400 subscribers in 1 month alone. You'll even notice that there's some money there because on April 21st, 2021, I remember the date so clearly, I was officially accepted into YouTube's partner program. So that number that you're seeing on the screen, that reflects my earnings for the last week of month 6. My paycheck for my first full month on YouTube, which was the following month, totaled £1,649. And that is how I was able to go from 0 subscribers to fully monetized in just 6 months on YouTube. Now, your journey could be a lot easier than mine if you utilize the Riverside tools that I spoke about during this video. But also, you can get 15% off with my coupon code Jade Beason. Of course, I've included a link to join Riverside in the description. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It's all about how you can reach your specific target audience on social media. Super important video for everyone because we're not just trying to reach anyone and everyone, we're trying to reach a specific audience. And this video is going to help you do just that. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I cannot wait to see you in my next video.